Wait, you could cut the grass in Pokémon? A revelation that truly blows your mind if you didn't know about this obscure feature in a decades-old video game. But one that I am glad to have known about as a kid. You see, I've been getting a lot of comments lately telling me to touch on the topic of grass in Pokemon games. And while I don't exactly get why, I'm glad to. Tall grass is one of the first elements of Pokemon we're introduced to. Sure, we get the little introduction with Professor Oak first, but before we even obtain our very own adorable little Scrunko, we're told to stay out of the tall grass. That's where the wild Pokemon live, we could get hurt. It becomes endlessly important once the game actually gets started, because it's our means of obtaining new Pokemon. And even though the cave floor and water eventually serve the same purpose, the best part about the tall grass is that it can be cut. Years before we were ever graced with the existence of Rotom Mow, we could cut grass ourselves. The field move, Cut, HMO1, is usually intended to cut down these funky looking trees that block certain paths. Cut itself isn't really the coolest move, definitely not even the coolest HM. I usually dread having to use up a move slot on one of my Pokemon just to get past a tree that looks like it could fall over with a single breath. Sure, Cut is stronger than Scratch, so it's useful early game, but later on, literally any other normal type move is just better. But I do like that this thought was put into its other overworld applications. If you stand facing a patch of grass, go to your Pokemon menu and select the move Cut, your Pokemon will cut down the grass right in front of you, or surrounding you if you're standing in the middle of it. This is really cool. Sure, the grass will respawn once you leave the area and come back, but the fact that we have the ability to alter the overworld in any way is great. And this was in Generation 1. The feature returns in Generation 2, but we also get introduced to the really tall grass. As you might expect, this is literally just taller grass. What the heck else would it be? If you use Cut on this really tall grass, you'll be left with regular tall grass, which you can then cut again. Yeah, you need to cut this grass twice, it's so tall. Absolutely riveting gameplay. Once again, Generation 3 brings back this feature, but if a Pokemon has the ability Hyper Cutter, the radius will be a bit larger. Now, when you use Cut in the overworld, it will cut a 3x3 square, and with Hyper Cutter, it will cut a 5x5 square. I always love when Pokemon abilities have effects like this outside of battle, and all of this is just something that makes sense. If a Pokemon is capable of cutting small trees, why not the grass as well? I don't exactly see much of a use for this though. Hypothetically, you could use this as a method for avoiding Pokemon, by simply cutting down the grass on a route that you need to get through. But having to open the menu, select the move, and watch the animation over and over and over again is a bit too tedious. Repels just work much better, but I'll be honest, it is fun. You have the power to bring encounter rates on a certain route down to 0. Why not eliminate all of the grass in the national park during the bug catching contest? I'd like to see those NPCs win without any grass. Finally, I've secured my victory by cheating. Aw, dang it. Unfortunately, Generation 3 was the last time we would see this. No Pokemon games since have kept the feature. Sure, it was completely unnecessary, but I mean, so were secret bases. And we miss those nowadays. Give it a year. Everybody's gonna be bothering Game Freak on Twitter asking them to bring back cutting grass. Tall grass would remain a nuisance by hiding a bunch of random encounters until Generation 8, when Pokemon just walk around wherever they want. Sure, there are still some random encounters, but for the most part, tall grass is almost safe aside from the occasional short king obscured from view. Now in Pokemon Legends Arceus, Pokemon are everywhere but the grass. The tables have finally been turned. Now we hide in the tall grass and the Pokemon try to avoid us. This really says a lot about society. If we're the ones hiding in the tall grass now, wouldn't that make us the monsters? Though I suppose that this is really before modern times anyway. We can actually read some old mythology in the Canalav City Library. Long ago, when Sinnoh had just been made, Pokemon and humans led separate lives. That is not to say they did not help each other. No, indeed they did. They supplied each other with goods and supported each other. A Pokemon proposed to the others to always be ready to help humans. It asked that Pokemon be ready to appear before humans always. Thus, to this day, Pokemon appear to us if we venture into tall grass. Well, that smells like a load of bantha fodder. Pokemon Legends Arceus literally shows that every Pokemon hates us. Even the dang Paris. I mean, I get that retcons happen, I just didn't know they could happen within the span of 2 months. Okay, enough hyperbolic anger for the sake of comedy, I just find this one to be funny. It's just a myth from the Canalave City Library. I don't really think it plays a whole lot into the lore of why Pokemon are in tall grass. I mean, they're wild animals, so obviously they're gonna hide in tall grass if they want to. This mythology is just a nice little story to tell children at night so they won't be afraid of the literal monsters out in the wild. Hey man, you ever think about the fact that like grass has been part of every Pokemon game and like it's had different gimmicks attached to it at various times? I just think that's crazy. Imagine if like no video games had grass. That would be pretty lame. Even though Generation 4 took away our ability to landscape, we did get the Poke Radar, which allows for chaining encounters and finding shiny Pokemon. Generation 5 introduced random shaking patches of grass that might hide some rare Pokemon depending on the route. And Generation 6 gave us a Dex Nav, which was kinda like the Poke Radar, but not really. You could see Pokemon tails popping out of the grass. I thought that was pretty neat. Technically, that was the stepping stone to Pokemon just appearing in the overworld that we would eventually get later. There's just a lot to the stuff actually. One of the very first things we're informed about in Pokemon games is the dang grass. It's become a meme since we've started bringing our Pokemon fandom to the internet, and it probably will be for the rest of Pokemon's lifespan. I still think that being able to actually cut down the tall grass is an underrated and even little known feature for the first 3 Pokemon generations. I wouldn't call it useless because you could technically use it to avoid wild encounters. It mostly just adds some extra use to a move that most of us might get rid of at the first opportunity. But then again, cut is better than flash. Imagine wasting a move slot on flash. It just goes to show how the developers at Game Freak took the time to stop and think about how Pokemon and trainers could choose to affect the world around them, even with the graphical and mechanical limitations the original Game Boy games had. I understand that this really worked best with the tile-based overworld because each individual grass tile was clearly defined from each other. But what I wouldn't give to be able to cut grass in a Pokemon game on the Nintendo Switch. Now I see why everybody wanted me to cover this topic. Wait, the comments were telling me to touch grass, like to get off the internet and go outside? What kind of neat do you take me for? Of course I've touched grass, I do it all the time, see? See? But anyway, hey, this is GatorX, and let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to show your support. You can follow me on Twitter as well, and I've also got the vlog channel that you can check out at the end. But anyway, this has been GatorX. Have a nice day.